There was a podcast with the governor, Gavin Newsom, and Ryan Murphy, who was the showrunner for the show that kind of vaulted this from a, uh, fixation for decades to something into the stratosphere. And the parole hearing, as I just mentioned, in 2 weeks. And Arthur and Ashley, I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of these things, whether 35 years later, by all accounts, some of the best work anybody's ever done in prison, whether or not they deserve to be out.
Ashley, take it away. Grab onto your pearls and go.
I will clutch my pearls. Of course they deserve to be released. I mean, they've been model prisoners. We need to reward that. We have violence in prison. We need to reward that. I also think you should win the habeas because, quite frankly, the second trial was not fair. I mean, the judge excluded key evidence, which was their defense, the abuse at the hands of their parents. And the jury didn't have all the evidence. And anytime a jury doesn't have all the evidence, they're making a decision with one eye, covered. They just don't have it. And so that's just not a fair trial. So I think, we're in one of those situations where most people think at this point, what do we do? And you're doing a great job putting everything out there. So all of the options are available. Judge could grant the habeas. They could just let them out on parole. And, they probably, I know like most of my clients, if they were out on parole, they probably would let the habeas go. They would probably just live their life and, enjoy the days they have left. It's just, it's one of those cases where you wish cooler heads prevailed. They were abused. That's clear. They've admitted.
Ashley's point, the first jury was a hung jury when they had the evidence that was excluded at the second trial. So it shows you there was reasonable doubt when the jurors had more evidence. And then when you just tailor it down so that there's a lot less evidence, a jury ruled in a different direction.